So were there times that Karen tried to leave Jay?
Many times. Not only going to domestic violence shelter, she drove all the way to Salina when we lived there. And then she'd panic. Jeremiah was a little one. And then she'd panic and say, I got to get back before he gets home from work. Just scared to death, and would leave. So she'd drive all the way there for maybe an hour and turn around and drive home. She did that a couple times in Newton when I live in Newton now. Would drive to Newton and then panic. That was after Jeremiah had left the house by herself, and drive all the way back home. She would miss her pets, wonder how they're doing, because one of his controls, Jay, was to strangle cats, throw cats against the wall, kill her cats, take them out in the country and shoot them in front of her. Say, if you ever leave me, this is what will happen to you. I will hunt you down like the dog you are and kill you. And we believed that. I believed it, my husband believed it, she believed it. Horrendous things. When Jeremiah lived at home, he would threaten Jeremiah. I will torture him in front of you, I will kill him and then kill you and kill me. Then when Jeremiah left, it turned to me. I will kill your sister, I will kill you, and then you'll have to watch, and then I'll kill me.
Were you ever angry at your mom that she didn't leave and protect you?
At times. There was times where I remember being upset with my mom that she didn't leave, but then I also saw what happened anytime that she tried. If we'd leave, if we'd get out of the house, if we did something he didn't like, it was bad, man. It was bad.
Did your mom ever try to report the abuse that you know of?
Many times. Many times. She went directly to the police and said, he's hitting me. And granted, by this time, her memory was scrambled because Dad had given her brain damage. But she had gone over and over and over, supposedly, as I was told, 2 to 3 times a week sometimes. And
to the police?
To the police, directly to the police. And they would just take her back to the house and say, Jay, she says you're hitting her. Oh no, she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she'd go. That was it.
Did anyone else ever try to report the abuse?
I know that there was plenty of people around the area that said that they'd called welfare checks on her, or wellness checks, whatever it is, on her repeatedly. And somehow there was never anything wrong.
Did you ever try to report the abuse?
I never tried to report the abuse because my dad had very good friends in the police department, and frankly, we knew that it'd get back to him, and I couldn't afford to put my family through the possibility of what he might do.
You were scared of him?
I was terrified of him. We all were.
Did other people try to report the abuse to the law enforcement?
Oh my gosh, this is where I have to be careful what I say, because so many people knew and nobody really said anything or did anything. And anytime I reported things, like for instance, she had a PFA against him and lived in Victoria, and every time, and not every time because I don't know every time that he did come, but I got so many phone calls from Karen alone saying he's on my front porch again, from the neighbor saying his truck is in the driveway. I would call the police and they would say, we'll talk to him, 20 times or so. I finally called the Hayes police and they said, we can't do anything, that's them. And I said, well, at least tell them that's not how PFA works. That's not how PFA works. And then he got her back because I lived in Newton, she lived here.
It was hard to watch. You would never think she was the age. She had to help her learn how to make a plate of food because she didn't know how to do it.
There was the one time that the police brought her to the house because she had gotten out here in Hayes and Dad was driving. They couldn't get a hold of him, so they brought Mom out to my house, or we had to go pick her up, I guess. And we brought her out to the house, and I saw how bad she was. She couldn't think, she couldn't do anything really. I mean, she was just a mess. And I got a hold of my dad and I said, hey, Mom's out here, she got out. I've got her, she's at the house. We'll keep her here. And he said, okay, well, I'll get her when I get back. The next day, and I hadn't talked to my dad in God knows how long because he wouldn't talk to me. So The next morning, he shows up to pick her up, and I said, Dad, if you need help, me and Casey can help. We'll take care of Mom. Like, we'll help you. You can't do this by yourself. And he goes, yeah, but I'm going to. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you, like, we can help you here. And he goes, I said, if you can't deal with this, maybe you should put her in a home or something. I ain't putting her in a goddamn home. I'm not paying for that shit. I'll take care of your mom. And that was it. And it was, there he goes, gone.
Can you describe what your mom's quality of life was in the months or years before she was
Sadly,
killed?
I can't. Because in the few years before she died, I think I saw them twice. Because I'd run into them at Walmart or Home Depot one time. And that was it. That was all I got. He 100% isolated her, at least from us. Because according to his friends, that he would take her over there or wherever, right, around them. But he would post things on Facebook where it was a picture of my mom in the hospital. And I would hit him up and be like, hey, what's going on, Mom? Everything okay? And I'd never get a reply, but he'd reply to the 10 people after me that asked the same question.
It was his life, like her life that she had, that she created. It was over.